What's up, party people? This is Jude Snowboarder here from Facebook, Jude's Junk, Facebook comic book shop, and YouTube channel. My profile is Jude Snowboarders, plural, and I provide brokering services for clients. And so this is the second video I've done on this. Maybe try to clarify some things. There was some miscommunication on a big purchase recently, and just want to make sure everything's really clear for my clients up front. So people say, why should I use you for brokering and how do you get paid? Well, the why is pretty easy. I'm on about 20 different auction sites daily. I buy a lot of books and turn around and sell them, and I always come across great deals. And I'm finding new auction sites every day. You'd be amazed at how many small estate sales are online all over the country. And so I get to see these deals. And so the market might be changing. This is February 2024. And if the prices do start going up consistently, then the ability to get something under fair market, would be affected. But for the most part, someone says to me that they want a book. I'm looking at a book right now, Batman Harley Quinn. I want a 9.8 signed by Alex Ross, and I don't want to pay $900. And so a lot of people get confused, and they'll say, well, I'll go up to 900. Well, no, you come up with an exact dollar amount. I want $900 for the book. That means you're going to pay $900 for the book. I go out and I get it, and I back end in my commission, taxes, buyer fees, shipping. I got clients overseas that do this, so I got to factor in shipping overseas. So I do all that back end math, and then I sell it to you for $900. Maybe I went out of order here, but again, why? If you really like the hunt, then you're going to be online for hours, and you can go ahead and go that route. But if someone is a busy professional and they're looking for someone who's in front of the auctions daily, then I get to come across a lot of good deals. I got a lot of clients right now. I'm spending a lot of time looking for books, like 20 clients, and each of them have like 5 to 10 books they're looking for. So it is getting busy, and I might have to start picking and choosing which clients I can go for. Sometimes a client wants a killer book and they want it 75% of the fair market value. I have no problem looking for it, but the chances of you getting that big of a deal are small. So I also come with GPA. A lot of people don't subscribe to GPA. They might have GoCollect, they might have Cover Price, and in my view, they are not as rich. I believe they pull from like 4 different sites, and I believe GPA pulls from like 18 to 20 sites. Anyways, that's my understanding. So there's a lot of reported sales on GPA that aren't on the other 2 sites. So that's actually a value-added service. People may not even spend the time to go out and try to figure out the price. They'll say, hey, what does GPA say for that signed book, a 9.8? And I'll say, hey, 90 days is this, last sale is this, and the market's going up, it's going down for that specific book. And so that's a value-added service in terms of why you might use a broker. And if you like the hunt and you want to go that route, then obviously you wouldn't use my services. Now, how we get paid, that's what I wanted to make a little bit more clear. For the most part, I like it where you give a price. It doesn't matter if it's a $500 book or a $50,000 book. You say, hey, I want an Action 1 and I want to pay $50,000. Okay, great. That gives me the ability to do all the back-end math. If I'm shipping overseas, that's significant shipping. Insurance. I just did a book. It was $500 to ship a book. It was a $25,000 book. So when you go to UPS and do insurance or FedEx, it is really high. Unless I go out and buy a corporate policy with an umbrella policy like some of these auction houses do, but there's a lot of auction houses that don't provide shipping. So they say you are responsible for going and get a third-party shipper. That means UPS has to drive over, pick it up, pack it up. That's what happened with this $25,000 book, is that we had to use UPS, and it was $500. It was just really expensive. So I have to figure all that out in advance. I got to back that out. If there's a buyer's premium, I got to do that math. If I'm shipping overseas, then there's that complication. If I ship the book directly to you, they might have so much business in your state that tax is added on. So that means the book has to come to me first, because in my state, in Idaho, a lot of these auction houses don't do a lot of business, so they don't have to start charging tax until they get over a certain threshold in that state. For example, my comic shop, I was buying a lot off them, and I was never paying tax. And then earlier this year, we're selling a lot to Idaho all of a sudden, so we got to start charging you tax. So I buy a lot less from my comic shop now because that 6%, in some places 10% tax is a huge bite. So I need to I'll figure that out. I got to do all that, logistics. Are we going to pay for it and ship it direct to you? That would make shipping cheaper. But if I got to do a $25,000 book mailed to me to avoid tax on $25,000, and then spend another $500 to insure it and send it to you, because what is it? $10 for every 100, so that's $100 for every $1,000 on some of these websites. So it depends on how you get the insurance. So anyways, that is my preferred route. Most clients do that. They just say, hey, I want this price. I want you to get it for $25,000, and you figure all the math, and if I can get it, I'll be happy with that. Hey, I might get it for $1,000 and turn around and ship it for $25,000. However I get it, that's how I get it. And it's just like a used car lot. Buy a car for $3,000, I sell it for $15,000. You don't really care what I paid for it, and most of these sites that I'm working with are not reporting them. And some of the auction houses that do report, I already have relationships with them where they won't report just for my purchases. And so that's been actually really helpful for my clients. Is if they get a screaming deal and it's reported, then it just reduces the fair market value overnight, even though they're probably not going to want to try and sell it, but they could. Everyone knows how fair market values are real sensitive to one low sale. Everybody thinks, oh, it just dropped 3,000, so that's what it's worth now. So not reported as a value added for these buyers. If you really don't like the model of, hey, I want to give you just $25,000 for this book. If you want to do another model, that's all up for negotiation. We could say a flat dollar amount. Hey, I'll give you $3,000. And that's going to be above and beyond, and we're talking big books, of course. I'm not going to do a $3,000 fee on a $1,000 book. $25,000 book, $30,000 book, $35,000 book. It might be a flat $3,000 fee. That means I take all of your fees, which is shipping, maybe shipping twice, maybe $1,000 in shipping if it's a big book and we got to mail it to me and then the other person to avoid tax. We got shipping, we got buyer's fees. I got confused recently on a website because on one page they said 22% buyer's fees, and the other said 27%. It was really hard for me to know what the actual cost was until after the auction was over, and I certainly didn't know that shipping was going to be $500 until after it was over. So if it's a flat fee like that, $3,000, then we take the price of your book. Then it's easy for me to be transparent and say, hey, I bought it for X. And the truth is, if you're not going to see it, then you're just totally relying that I'm telling the truth, that I bought it for X. And some people may not like that. They might like I just want a flat fee. So it's really what you feel comfortable with. So it's the price of the book. You're not going to see where it's at. You're not going to see what it actually sold for. You got to take my word for it. And then all the fees, you got to take my word that, insurance is this, shipping is this, buyer's premium is this, and then we add the $3,000 onto that. If you don't like that model, then there is the flat percentage. Hey, I want to pay a 10% fee on a $30,000 book, and I'll do that above and beyond the cost of the book, plus the shipping, insurance, tax, buyer's fees, all that stuff. So that stuff really has to be negotiated up front. We were just in a situation where we were on the clock with an auction. It was, I just came a $25,000 book. I just found it like at 11 o'clock at night. The client was asleep. He didn't get all the messages till early in the morning. He's got a job. And we're scrambling through trying to, negotiate at that point. And that's really rough when I'm in the middle of an auction to negotiate and communicate clearly. So you need to be really clear up front exactly how you're going to pay and when you're going to pay. If I have to buy the book and I think you want it, but you haven't committed to it, and I just spend my money on it, that means I pull the trigger. You could say, nope, I don't want to do it for that. That means I am totally investing my money. It's my book. Well, in that case, I'm not buying it for you. I'm buying it for me. And I got it at a great deal, and then I'm going to turn around and sell it for my price. So if we didn't resolve negotiating the actual price, and I buy it for $20,000, I might put it up for sale for $35,000 because you and I never was able to finalize the fee. So I hope that this video will explain to you a little bit about how the options can work when we're talking about a bigger book. I don't want to do a 10% fee on small books. 10% on an $80 book is $8, and in many cases that's not worth my time unless you want 10 books. And if then you want 10 books and it's easy for me to grab an $80 book to throw in there, then that's fine. So anyways, I'm sure I forgot something. We can communicate online, questions that you have. But if you're looking for big grails and you want to pay under fair market value, let me know and we'll start hunting. Happy hunting, guys.